I'm in trouble. I'm under arrest. I'm in jail.
Tell me what's going on. I don't understand.
I'm in big trouble. They want to take me back to California.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
Just be strong. I'm so ashamed about the position I put you in.
Don't even go there, because
Don't spend a nickel on anything except you. Because whatever happens here, I mean, I've already lost my job. They laid out a bunch of stuff. They got stuff and everything. I got to tell you, it looks bad. I mean, other than the fact that there's no physical evidence saying I did it, I didn't do it. They could put me away to prison. So, you need to conserve everything you have. Take care of yourself and your son, my son.
San Clemente, California, is a gem of the southern coast, a town where the beauty of the Pacific Ocean meets the charm of Spanish colonial architecture. Nestled between Los Angeles and San Diego along the Pacific Coast Highway, this coastal haven is renowned for its serene beaches, rolling hills, and a laid-back atmosphere that invites residents and visitors alike to pause and savor life. The town's skyline is marked by terracotta rooftops and white stucco buildings, reminiscent of its Spanish heritage. The iconic San Clemente Pier stretches into the sparkling blue waters, a gathering place for locals who fish, stroll, or simply enjoy the mesmerizing sunsets that paint the sky in shades of gold and crimson. Surfers flock to renowned spots like Trestles, chasing the perfect wave in waters that shimmer under the California sun. Downtown San Clemente is the heart of the community, with palm-lined streets dotted with quaint boutiques, inviting cafes, and family-owned restaurants serving everything from gourmet seafood to homemade pastries. On weekends, the farmers market brings a lively energy to the area, with stalls offering fresh produce, local honey, and handmade crafts. The sound of live music often fills the air, creating a warm and welcoming ambience. The natural beauty of San Clemente is complemented by its accessibility to outdoor adventures. Hiking trails wind through the nearby hills, offering panoramic views of the coastline, while parks and green spaces provide a perfect setting for picnics, yoga sessions, or simply soaking in the sunshine. The climate, famously mild year-round, ensures that life here feels like an endless summer. San Clemente is a community with a deep sense of connection. Neighbors greet each other warmly, children ride bikes along quiet streets, and families gather for events like concerts in the park or 4th of July celebrations by the beach. It's a town that feels both timeless and vibrant, where the rhythm of life is guided by the ebb and flow of the ocean. Paul Curry seemed like the perfect man. He was charming, intelligent, and accomplished, a combination that captivated Linda Kinkade when they met at a California nuclear power plant in 1989. At 45, Linda was a woman of beauty and intellect, but she often confided in friends that she felt unfulfilled in love. That all seemed to change when Curry entered her life. He was 13 years her junior, but exuded confidence and warmth, and he quickly became a central figure in her world. Friends who met him described Curry as the life of the party, the kind of man who could light up any room. Curry's accomplishments were just as dazzling. He wasn't just a scientist, but also a former champion on Jeopardy!
This is Jeopardy!
A title that came with a $60,000 prize. His victories on the trivia stage mirrored the impression he gave in real life, a man who could outsmart almost anyone. Linda, swept up in his charisma and charm, fell for him quickly. The two became inseparable, often cooking meals together, with Curry taking particular pride in crafting salad dressings from scratch using ingredients from their garden. To their friends, the couple seemed perfectly matched. Curry was attentive, frequently doting on Linda and making her feel special. He seemed to adore her, and she reveled in the happiness he brought. In 1992, the couple decided to marry, opting for a simple ceremony in Las Vegas. Linda's friends were thrilled to see her so happy, But beneath her joy, cracks in the relationship began to form. Shortly after the wedding, Linda confided in her best friend, Laurie Sebold. She revealed that Curry had started to push her to make significant financial changes. He wanted her mortgage, her 401k, and a life insurance policy all transferred into his name. His persistence was unnerving, but Linda rationalized it as a practical move in their new marriage. Curry also insisted on taking out a $1 million life insurance policy on Linda alone, arguing that, due to her age, he didn't need one for himself. Despite her reservations, Linda agreed, eager to maintain the harmony in their marriage. Not long after, Linda received a phone call from a woman asking for Curry. The woman was inquiring about child support payments, and Linda was blindsided by the revelation. She confronted Curry, and he confessed he had a child from a previous relationship and had been married twice before. It was a shocking betrayal of trust, but Curry was quick to apologize. He smoothed things over with Linda, convincing her of his regret. To make up for his dishonesty, he planned a romantic 3-day cruise. The cruise, intended as a gesture of reconciliation, turned into a nightmare. Both Linda and Curry became violently ill, with symptoms resembling hantavirus. Linda's condition worsened significantly, requiring hospitalization for weeks. Laurie Sebold rushed to the hospital to support her friend, but nothing could prepare her for what she saw. Linda was unrecognizable, frail, pale, and fighting for her life. Doctors were baffled. Blood tests revealed no clear cause for her illness, and theories ranged from radiation exposure at the power plant to a psychiatric condition like Munchausen syndrome. Linda eventually recovered, but the ordeal left her 25 pounds lighter and emotionally drained. Back at home, Curry seemed to step up as the perfect husband. He was attentive and affectionate, drawing her bubble baths and doting on her every need. Linda's health gradually improved, but the episode had left a shadow over their marriage. On New Year's Eve of 1993, Linda's mysterious illness returned with a vengeance. Recognizing the symptoms, she admitted herself to the hospital. Once again, doctors were at a loss to explain her deteriorating condition. During one of Laurie's visits to the house, she stumbled upon paperwork detailing Linda's financial accounts and life insurance policies. The discovery made Laurie's suspicions grow. She began to question Curry's motives, especially when a nurse at the hospital discovered that Linda's IV bag had been tampered with. The tubing showed clear signs of needle punctures. Hospital security alerted authorities, and detectives from the Orange County Sheriff's Office began investigating. They interviewed Linda in her hospital bed, asking if she believed anyone might want to harm her. Linda hesitated before finally saying, "Well, the only person I can think of that would have a motive to do it would be Paul. I just don't want to believe and think that he would do that. He seems like a very good husband."
If somebody were trying to do something to you, if they were trying to poison you, any idea who would try to do that?
Well, the only person I could think of that would have a motive to do it would be Paul.
I don't really believe that Paul tried to do anything. Our relationship's wonderful. He's a wonderful man. I love a lot of things. I'm hard on my men. I'm hard on my cars. I'm hard on my shoes. I was not easy on that. A lot of my friends are saying that Paul is guilty. Get out of the house.
Despite the growing suspicions around Curry, Linda was discharged from the hospital before the investigation could gain significant traction. Laurie and other friends tried to warn her about their concerns, but Linda dismissed their fears. She was deeply conflicted, torn between her love for Curry and the unsettling signs around her. By June 1994, Linda's health had declined significantly. On the evening of June 9th, Curry called Laurie and asked for her help, saying Linda was weak and incoherent. The next morning, Linda Kinkade was dead. She was just 49 years old. Linda's death left friends and family divided. Some were convinced that Curry had poisoned her, while others couldn't believe he was capable of such a thing. Without definitive proof, Curry was able to collect on Linda's life insurance policy and her 401k. The case went cold for nearly a decade. In 2002, Sergeant Yvonne Scholl from the Orange County Sheriff's Office revisited Linda's case. She listened to taped interviews of Linda describing Curry's possible motives and was struck by Linda's words. "It was like her talking from the grave to me." Scholl later said, Scholl dug deeper into Curry's past and uncovered a disturbing pattern. She discovered that Curry's second wife had also experienced unexplained illnesses during their marriage. The woman described symptoms eerily similar to Linda's: extreme fatigue, dizziness, and a year-long battle with an undiagnosed illness. She also revealed that Curry had pressured her to take out a life insurance policy, which she was ultimately denied. Shortly after, Curry left her for Linda. A breakthrough came when Scholl revisited Linda's toxicology report. While 1994 testing had been limited, newer methods revealed startling details. Linda's body contained nicotine levels 50 to 100 times higher than that of a regular smoker. Linda, however, had never smoked. The autopsy also noted a small mark behind her ear, which investigators now believed was the site of a lethal nicotine injection. Authorities theorized that Curry had poisoned Linda slowly over time by adding tobacco to her food, specifically the homemade salad dressings he prided himself on. On the night of her death, they believed he had drugged her with Ambien before delivering the fatal dose of nicotine. In 2010, Curry was living in Kansas when Detective Scholl confronted him. She posed as a local officer, not wanting him to know the case had been reopened in California. During the interview, Curry admitted he had been alone with Linda the night she died, placing himself as the only possible suspect.
The night that Linda passed away, you and Linda were alone, correct?
Right.
Was there anybody else in the house?
You were in bed.
Mm-hmm.
No one else in the house.
Correct.
And then you call 911.
After trying...
Right. I understand that. But I mean, you call 911.
Correct.
Curry was arrested and extradited to California to face charges of first-degree murder with special circumstances and insurance fraud. In September 2014, 20 years after Linda's death, he stood trial.
Usual murder trial underway in California. Paul Curry is accused of poisoning his wife back in 1994, 20 years ago. It's taken prosecutors that long to make the case against him, and ABC's Cecilia Vega has that story.
It is a cold case that had authorities stumped for years. But this morning, the man who police say almost got away with murder will be in a Southern California courtroom. Jury selection is underway in the trial of Paul Curry, the 57-year-old accused of poisoning his wife Linda 20 years ago, cashing in on insurance money, then moving to another state to start a new life.
This is pure greed, and unfortunately it's the kind of greed that allowed somebody to kill the person he was supposed to protect.
The once happy couple met while working at the San Onofre nuclear plant and lived here in the California beach town of San Clemente. But according to court records, just 9 months into their marriage, Linda started mysteriously having symptoms. A year later, she died. Eventually, forensic testing confirmed Linda, a non-smoker, had fatal levels of nicotine in her system. But as prosecutors told our Los Angeles station in 2010, it took years and more testing before authorities could link Paul Curry to her death.
Science's ability to determine the amount of nicotine in somebody's system and how lethal it is and the timing of it was able to help us.
Curry was arrested 4 years ago in a small town in Kansas, where he worked in government overseeing city building inspections. He remarried and lived off a $400,000 insurance payout.
Prosecutors painted a chilling portrait of a man who manipulated and deceived those closest to him for financial gain. After deliberating for weeks, the jury found Paul Curry guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Linda Kinkade, a woman who sought love and happiness, had fallen victim to a man who preyed on her trust. As Assistant District Attorney Ibrahim Beatty said during sentencing, Linda wanted to be loved. She wanted to be treated like a princess, and he did exactly that. But that was the biggest mistake she made, and unfortunately, she paid for it with her own life.